So everyone's on candid camera. Okay. So good morning, everyone. This is the second of the graduates workshop series. This is Introduction to RefWorks. Our next and last workshop series will be next month, and it will introduce the citation databases. Now, these are databases whose purpose is to track who cites what. So that's where the idea of citation comes from. That will be a Saturday, same bad time. Just want to let you know, like I said, I know we're recording. My name is Stephanie Isham. I'm one of the reference and instruction librarians. I am the liaison to the College of Arts and Sciences and Health Sciences and Human Performance. My colleague Mohammed Reza is the liaison to education, engineering, and business. He is also here. He will be monitoring chat. So if you have questions or as we go along, please feel free to use the chat function, and he will tell me and I will gladly answer your questions. So feel free to use that anytime you need to. I am going to start sharing my screen, and we'll get along into RefWorks. Okay. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
And we've got the RefWorks. Okay. So RefWorks is a citation manager. What that means is that it is software designed to keep track of citations and things that you've researched and pulled. You can put them in folders, you can organize them, you can share them. It is just a place to gather citations for your work. When I was in school, this was done on note cards. If you're old enough to remember, you write the source down and then you put a little number on it, so you know the source. And then in your note cards for your work, you'd have that little number and you know what source it came from. But that has its limitations because when you are doing research, original paper research, master's theses, PhD dissertations, you could be dealing with hundreds or thousands of citations, particularly in your literature review. So this helps you manage those. And in this presentation, I am going to introduce the format of RefWorks, give you the basics of how it works, as well as show you how to export citations from Falcon Finder and from the EBSCO databases. So now I'm ready already at the login screen. As you can see, so you can bookmark refworks.proquest.com if you want, but also how you get here is from the library, databases, view databases, R, and then RefWorks. And it takes you to the same URL. So there are different ways there. And somebody's thinking on my computer, so we're going to give it a pause. There are other software options for this, Zotero, EndNote, things like that, but this is the one that the library provides. It's a very good product and has unique features, and the library pays for it. So I encourage people to use it while you have access to it and enjoy the product. And I'm still spinning. Okay. Okay, and now it's Teams giving me a problem. Okay. Hang on, everybody. Okay. I was able to close my windows. Mohammed, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see you.
Can you hear me through the, how about on the chat? How are my chat people doing? Should I just carry on and let Teams do what it needs to do? Great, thank you. Okay, so this is the main search screen here on Teams. As you can see, it remembered me on my computer. For new people, you will need to create an account. There is the option to log in from my institution. We are working with RefWorks and IT to make this possible. So until it does, I encourage you to create your own account. There you go. So you will need to log into your account with your institutional ID. This is your email.utpb.edu. That way they know that you're with us and we've paid our bill, and then that what you have access to. And then you'll enter your email and you go through the steps of creating a password. Once you have it, you sign in. And then your default page will be all references here. So you can see all the references you've managed or last imported. I'm going to click up here. And that will clear my screen and show me the last imported items. Let's start at the top corner. So this will always take you to the home page. This will take you to the home page. RefWorks has individual folders that you can create your citations for, or it has these project pages. So they're separate collections and areas. So if you need more than folders, separating it, if you need whole other project pages that you can share, then you can use the Untitled project, rename it, and share the project and manage it. So a project, let's see, when would you use a project? When you are working with collaborating with a group and you have multiple folders and it's more complicated than a folder, then you can create a project. And then let's say you're working on individual papers, but you're also collecting for your dissertation and you want to have your dissertation as its own project. Also, the idea of how much you want to share. You can usually just share individual folders, but if you want your collaborators to have more access to do different things, a project would be worth it here. I have my folders, I'm fine. My collaboration is limited, so I'm going to leave that alone. Shows our login. One of the charming things about RefWorks is all these different languages. So if English is your second language and you're more stronger in another language, you can select that here. Also, if you need a language not listed, let us know. RefWorks has lots of languages. We'll see what we can do to get it put up there. English is my strongest. I'm sticking to English. This shows I'm logged in with my name and the different things. Settings. This allows you to view your settings. So this is my profile. I get project updates about new features, export. Okay, so I can have it directly sent to the new RefWorks. This is the new RefWorks. Or I could have it sent to Legacy, or you can ask which version you'd like to export to. So, but I'm going to just do that for purposes of teaching. Then I can have custom fields. If there are fields that I want to add to the references where that I can put in, do I want to put my notes? Do I want to put perhaps something like the methodology? If I'm tracking methodologies, if there's certain things I'm tracking, I can add specific fields in there, sometimes like the call number, the URL. If I need permanent links to something, that gives me the option there. I don't need to do that. This is also the part where you would remove your RefWorks account. Obviously, I'm not going to do that right now. And then tools. Oh, you will like tools. Okay. So these tools are almost widgets or applications that you can download to your computer. Save to RefWorks, and I have it already, is a tab or a bookmark that you can add your references to RefWorks in theory from any website. You go to the website. My experience has been you use single records, click on the Save to RefWorks, and it goes immediately to RefWorks. So you don't have to log, you have to export, click this, click this, click that. It is supposed to work automatically. To be honest, I've had better luck doing specific items than a list of items. But give it a try. If it doesn't work, go back and then do it the old-fashioned way. This is Write and Cite. And what this does is it installs Microsoft Word installs directly into Microsoft Word. Sorry about that. Sure.
I'll be able to use the Save to RefWorks plugged into through Google Scholar.
It's supposed to in theory. Give it a try.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, from any website.
Yes.
So I'm assuming that it will work in Google Scholar. The main trouble I've had is if I tried to send a list of them versus one reference at a time. Now they say any website, so I'm going to hold it to them. Okay, Write and Cite. Okay, so this is a plugin. They call it a plugin that allows you to insert and edit citations, adding them to your bibliography as you go. And it pops up as its own tab. And then you see things down here. Here's a screenshot for it. So this is when you're typing along. You have the point you've quoted. You need to insert a citation. You go to the RefWorks tab, you go Insert Citation, you select it, and it pops it in automatically in the style that you have set your RefWorks for. APA, Chicago, different things like that. And you will probably put your output style in the Write and Cite as well. So those are the two very good tools that you can use. Pulls the citations out, saves you from having to hunt and stop your thought to type it. Back to over here. Okay. And then sometimes I just click here to go back home. Ta-ta. Okay, display. You can also personalize this as well. There's your number per page, and then you have different views. So let me go to a folder. Here's my APM folder, and I'll show you the difference. This is the normal view. There's your partial title, and then the different tags, almost like subject headings, like hashtags on social media. And then so you can search for your tag journalism or a particular topic, and it will pull all the articles with that hashtag in. Table view does it like that. Full view shows that whole record. And then sometimes I look at Citation View. And Citation View allows you to look at how it would work in your citation view. And then it gives you the orange, like this is probably click to add. Or this is maybe required for the style, click to add. So let's do it for this one. Okay. Okay. And if you can add it. No, we use a proxy for this one. So the URL is okay. And then you'd have to go back to your citations and look for the authors. I have this as my default because I want to have the information correct as it goes in. I don't want to have to go back 5 days later, a week later, and find information to correct this. If I can come in and see that all the citations are correct, or even though there may be no author in this one, you know, so that it gives me confidence when I create my bibliography. That is one of the things that as a regular user of RefWorks, you will want to decide. You'll want to decide your workflow. When do I double check? At what point do I double check? When I first pop them in? Do I come back and get them later? Different things like that. So there's my displays. All the usual legals down here, deleted. I have no documents. So this is my trash. I've seen these, off they go. Tags, these are the ones that are already listed. So I can search for a tag. There's the tag. And if I click on it, boom. There's 2 articles. So that's a way to search. It's almost kind of sort of like the librarian keyword or subject heading. Here are my folders for different projects. When a citation comes in, if it's not assigned a folder specifically, it will go to last imported. After a while of sitting in last imported, it goes to not in folder. And then you can also add folders here or create subfolders. So here's my Jane Austen paper, but I'm looking at specific works. If with this folder, not as in her writing as a whole. So this allows you to organize and manage. Sharing. Okay. When you share a folder, you can select here. So I'm going to share APM. There's only invited people may access, but there's also anyone within your organization may join this folder. And that's where the folders at University of Texas Permian Basin would be. So let's say I'm creating a folder for a class, but I don't know who all the students are. So I may create the folder, allow anyone in the organization to join this folder and leave it out there. But for this one, I only want, yes, I want to stop. I am going to share it. I could do with either the public URL or I can email it. So I'm going to email Mohammed the right to access this folder. Now he can read it, he can annotate it, or he can modify it. So let him read it. And we'll send him a note. and then I share the folder. And he will get a notice that he has access to the folder. I'll click done. And you're welcome, Mohammed, that I didn't share the Jane Austen folder with you.
Okay.
Okay, I do try to be nice. Okay, and I want to get those folders cleared. So that's sharing. This is the last imported. Things will come into the last imported. There's an option to search certain databases. Right now, there's basically PubMed and the Library of Congress to search. We are investigating how to get our catalogs in. To avoid the importing, you try to search it here. And then all references is literally all the references I have here in both folders. As you can see, Jane Austen Marketplace. Add, I can add a reference. I can upload and direct files. I can import as different types of files, or I can create a new reference manually. I can select individual ones and assign them to a folder. I wanted to go to APM, or I could create a new one. And then off it should go. I can share selected references. I can create a bibliography. Really quickly. Quick Cite, citation editor, which customizes the citation styles you use. So if you need APA for one class or Chicago for another, you can set it. So let's see. There's my citations. Now I'll need to go back and look because my author shouldn't be. My title is off there. And that depends on how it comes in. Also, my title there. And I don't have a book title, just like it says. And then I could copy that to clipboard. So that's something you'll have to think about as a user. When you go in to check, it's kind of like, you know, what comes in comes out. And it can be, sometimes the record will have the author in all text or not. The one selected, I could add tags. There's my tools again. Find duplicates. And there's the other tools, or manage metadata for all your references. If you want to do something that's across all your citations, you can do a bulk edit. So I am going to find duplicates. Okay. No duplicates, good. I've done my job. This helps. Oh, I found this article. Oh, I found this article. I export them and oh, you find the same article by accident. That helps you with this. Okay. So any questions here on the overall view and the overall format of the document? Okay. I am also going over what is on the user guide that I added as an attachment. If you can't see it, ask Mohammed. He'll download another one. But are we okay here before we go on? Okay.
Databases.
Mm-hmm.
Can you only see the databases affiliated with the institution?
They will be with.
Can you also find the database on elsewhere?
Nope. They would probably be through the ones that we subscribe to. Or the two examples here are PubMed and Library of Congress.
Okay.
So it would be definitely through our institution's catalog or other sources. Because if we don't provide them and we don't have access to them, you won't have access to them. Or you won't have access to the full text. Yeah. And we're working on that as well. That's a good question. It's legal rights and stuff. PubMed's open to everyone. You could search it, but no one would get away with that. Okay. Are we ready to do some exporting?
Yes, another thing, okay.
Okay, sure.
I found other source from other database. Can I still add those source manually to?
You can add them manually, or there's a way that depending on the database, depending on the source, a lot of them will have the option to export. And you will export them into the database. And so I am going to show you how to export from Falcon Finder and then from the EBSCO databases. And then I think we're going to run out of time. The RefWorks help links at the bottom of the page will allow you to show you different ways to export. You can also export by using like a file type. Save it as a particular file type and then add the file type into RefWorks. Okay. So here I go. And for those of you who were here for the last workshop, I'm doing my Jane Austen and I'm looking at the male characters. You know, Elizabeth Bennet's wonderful, but I really want to look at the side characters, Mr. Bennet. Sir Thomas Bertram, or how she portrays men. What makes an amiable man? Things like that. So I have my search, and if you also remember from the last lecture, this is a search strategy that I've written down. It's one that I'm very comfortable with. So there's my search. Let's start looking. I should have manual. Masculinity. Da, 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 da. Okay, I like that. So I'm going to add that to my folder. Okay, that looks good. That looks good too, even though that's the physical one. Looks like I've got 2 records there, but I still want it. I have that one already. I'm not interested in women reviewing women. No. On gender, yes. No, I don't necessarily need a fall. I think I have that one. This could be a larger perspective, the gendering of men. No aging. That's a little dramatic, but I'll give that one. Jane Austen and the Professions. Okay. He looked quite red. Father figures. Okay, no, wrong author. I could look at this for hours and bore you all, but let's go to my folder. So export to. Look for export. That's going to be your magic word. There's all the different sources. There's RefWorks. Remember, I asked for this. Yes, the newest version. Now it'll be assigned to not in folder. Let's import the tags from the database. Let's keep it in not in folder. Perfect. I'm going to keep my options open here. Ha. So I have this in Jane Austen here, I have the specific works. There is the persuasion, there's Sense and Sensibility. So those two can go to in specific works. Apply, there we go. Done. Now I can delete, because I already have those in. Boom. Okay. So these are the rest. This is the general one. And I could even divide into another folder about the larger issues if I wanted to, but I just want them in Jane. Perfect. Clear last imported, because they're already in there. And then sometimes I get this, and you know what I do? I just refresh. There. Double check my folders. There she is. There we go. And then there's back to my saved items. So I'm going to clear all and go back to my results. Are we all doing good?
Yes.
Okay.
Very useful.
Yeah. Now let me go into my databases. I want MLA. And from the last, I'm going to select different databases to search. Here's my humanities retrospective and my humanities full text. Ooh, essay in general literature. I want those chapters in other books and collections. And just for the heck of it, let's try APA PsycInfo. Look at those characters to show psychological principles. And thank goodness for spell check. Thank you. Boom. Jane Austen, I get that women find my affinity for the rather intrusive, but her world has much to offer men too. Maybe. There's your abstract. Okay. It says they're cut in male characters in her novels. Okay. I'll give Bill a chance. The purity of his maleness. So where is Jane Austen? Okay, so it's supposed to have Jane Austen there somewhere. I'll also give Jonathan. No. Viewing the mail. Okay. There's a book. Okay, and that's where I get it from. Okay. Male narratives in 20th century fiction. No. There we go. Crying. Oh, yes. Okay. Can men cry? Women of sense. Instruction with amusement. Okay. I'll have to look at that one too. Anything with psych info? Okay, not too bad. All right. Go to my folder. And you'll see how select. The overall process is similar. You add things to a folder or a marked list, and then you export them out. Now, usually, like this HTML should go with us because it's there. There's RefWorks. And then you go to Save. Yes, export to the newest edition of RefWorks. And sometimes, let me see. You see how I have multiple RefWorks open here? It'll open it in a new window each time. But it should be saved in there. There we go. Not in folder. You can assign these to a particular folder if you choose. But I have some iffies. So I want to just import them. Perfect. Go through. This one can go in. And I can move that one to Jane Austen. There's my apply. And then I'm going to delete that because it should be in there already. Now this one and this one and Bill, I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to possibilities, maybe unsure. And then it's a subfolder of Jane Austen. Okay. And it's in there already. So let me go to last imported and delete those. And then they all should be in there. And now I can empty the trash. And when I empty the trash, they're gone forever. But there's my two possibilities. There's all my works. So I think what you will do as a regular user of RefWorks, you will decide when you export. Do you want to review all those articles, read all those articles before you export? Or do you want to export and put them in a particular folder where you can look at it later? Or how you want to double check the citations. That, I think, is a personal choice depending on each individual's research project. Now let me show you Now let me go back to Jane Austen's men rewriting masculinity in the Romantic era. So that's my general Jane Austen. There we go. So it wants to know an editor. So if we click, here is the individual record. And now I can go through and double check. Is there anything else here that I need for my, nope, it's her whole book. She wrote it herself, so I don't need to worry about an editor. It's a book. Double check this reference type. Sometimes it may not understand. There's all the tags. There's the DOI. There's a spot for a series title. So I want to put the series title in there. Routledge Studies in Romanticism. I may need that for my citing. Now what's this pages? 1 to 11? No. It doesn't give us pages. So what about this? 178. And then there's some custom fields. I can add more fields if I want to. Well, they already added the call number for the physical books, so I can go pull them off the shelf. And then you can search for a field, or you can add your own. Anything that you would need date retrieved would be good for particular citations. Any personal notes. You have notes there, but personal notes could be something that you use to analyze the work. Good for this, not for this. Want to include this. Things like that. That's where a personal notes field could come in. But it allows you to do things like that. Now let's go to the top. Look, the Get It at UT, let me save it first. Thank you. The Get It at UTPB button is there. Aha, you will need to save the full text to your computer first and then drag it onto the saved reference in your account. Okay, let's see if it works this way. And sometimes it thinks, and sometimes when it's struggling, we get the triangles a little too long, and then I give up. But I go back here because I have it open already. So I'm going to download this whole puppy. There we go. I see something. It's thinking. Do I have, oh, in the new window. Okay. I'll bring it over here. See, here it is. We're going to enable all features. Perfect. And then I'm going to File, Save As. Okay. I would probably choose the title. A few words of it. I'm going to save it to my desktop. There we go. And I'm moving it down because I still got this little white area. Right. So you want me to corresponding saved reference. Okay. Let's see where she is. There she is. See her over here? Okay. Drop file here to add to reference. Look at that dude. That whole PDF right there. Woohoo! And I don't have to hunt it down. Yay! And then I can also use this to edit. No, this doesn't have it, but the other one does with the all caps. So this one I may want to go through and check for my titles. There's the abstract, there's the title, and that will allow me to edit it. See, like gender, no. And I don't think we should do that either. I don't think that this quote was titled in there either. And save it. And that will help me figure it out. So keep in mind that as you go, you may have to go into these individual records and edit for your citation or edit for different things and keep track of it so that when you take your bibliography, it is as clean as possible. Of course, I always encourage people to double check the bibliography. I have had something in the code where it was APA, but a specific country was mentioned and it showed capitalized in my file, but when it went into the bibliography, it wouldn't capitalize that country. And I had to go back and capitalize it. But these things save you a lot of typing. And it allows you to keep track of large amounts of citations. So it's worth it to do that. So any more questions before I wrap it up? Are we typing? We are typing, okay.
If I'm wanting to share stuff with someone who doesn't have access to RefWorks, am I able to do that by providing them with the public URL?
Yes. Let's see. Let's go into sharing. Share a folder. Anyone with the URL will be able to see the contents of this folder. It's a public. So for me, the idea of the public means anyone. So they will be able to see the contents of it, but they may not be able to use this to create their own RefWorks account or different things like that. But this to me says they'll be able to see it. They may be able to copy and paste and save it someplace else, or they may be able to use it on their own. But what they can do with RefWorks will probably be limited. Okay, thank you. Always appreciate questions. All right. So I've introduced you to this main page. I've showed you how to export from Falcon Finder, from EBSCO databases, how to edit the different views, some of the issues you'll come across, how to add the PDF. Woohoo! That's a big deal. and got you started with it. The handout I sent you will cover some of these as well, but will cover things that I don't. And I also realize that many of you, like myself, sometimes will attend the presentation and then try to use the product after you've slept or had other adventures. And then your mind gets fuzzy and you're not real sure. So that's what the brochure and the handout is about. They also, at the very ending, list wonderful other sources from RefWorks. They have YouTube videos. They have different things like that that will help you use this to its full extent. I've kind of just given you a taste of it. Mohammed is going to submit a library instruction survey form to let me know how I've done, how I can improve, what I did well. So please fill that out, and Mohammed gets it, so you don't have to worry about hurting my feelings. As well, we will record this. We are recording this video. When we stop the recording, we will put this up on the YouTube page, our library YouTube page, so that you can review this later. It'll also be up there with our other workshop series. For example, if you are you using MLA or APA, we have our newest recordings of those workshops up there. Next month, I will be doing Chicago, so you will see my latest Chicago. If you're using it for a paper, or you can refer to my other ones from last year to get an idea of those things there, as well as using Falcon Finder, a library tour, different things like that. Feel free to contact either Mohammed or I directly, or use Falcon Chat on the library homepage if you need additional help. Falcon Chat is open when the library is open, and you can get help with this here or with RefWorks there. If you'd feel more comfortable, feel free to contact me directly, and we'll figure out what's going on with RefWorks. And also a good Google search will be able to help you as well. So if there are no more questions, I am going to end the recording and leave the chat. Everyone have a good Saturday. It is beautiful out there. Try to get some fresh air if you can.
Thank you.
It still said it wasn't responding. I hope it was recording. Poof. Well, we got one.
Yeah. Hopefully
it recorded.
Okay, I'm going to check it.
Okay, it's not in here yet.
Yeah,
It could be trying to figure it out.
But don't worry.
Okay.
We tried.
We tried.
Something, the problem.
I'd hate to stop in the middle of that presentation.
That's the problem. The technology,
Mm-hmm.
is panicky.
Uh-huh.